All right.
Hello.
Oh, we're kind of twisty here. Is that
Oh,
better? Is that
yes,
better? Okay,
that's
good.
better.
Awesome. Yes.
Good
Hello.
morning,
Good
everybody.
morning, everybody.
Good to see you.
Welcome to a happy, bright Thursday. Cold, finally,
Cold and brisk.
in Alabama. So I'm sure all the rest of the cold parts of the world laugh at us. So, but anyway, we're just here this morning, gonna get into our live. We missed last week. We apologize for that, but you can join us for sure on Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Standard Time here at Coffee with Brad and Selena, where we just endeavor to talk about life and biblical principles. You know, we were talking that a little bit about the show, you know. I think many times, you know, you see and follow ministers of all kinds. And we love ministers and we love all the great ministries that are out there. And you
Absolutely.
see all the amazing things. You see the excellence, man. You see, I'm just amazed. I think we should all just be thankful to God.
Yeah.
I mean, you see, I think of the people we follow, like I'll tell you, like, you know, Brother Keith Moore. And you see just all the great things he has done, him and Miss Phyllis, and their whole life of ministry, and their church in Branson, and the one in Sarasota, Florida, and how they're just, it's astounding. I mean, again, we got the privilege too of Brother Hagin and Pastor Kenneth Hagin out at Rhema in Tulsa, and you think about that whole campus and the church, and I mean, they apparently just remodeled it not that long ago.
Ooh, that was
So
a big remodel.
The
It's a big...
teal and pink are gone apparently, and so I think
Bye-bye
it's,
90s.
but you just look and they've just done such a great
Big stuff.
great thing. You know, we're now very much connected with Andrew Womack, and I mean, even Andrew, I love what Andrew says. You know, man, for years people stayed away from my meetings by the thousands. But now you look and you see that all that God has done, and I think what happens is we see all this, and we all, by the time many of us come in contact with big, quote unquote, big name ministries or whatever, you look at all of the amazing stuff. And I love what even Dave Ramsey, we follow Dave Ramsey and been up to his place in Nashville.
I love.
You know, and he goes, man, Dave Ramsey, 30 something years later, I'm an overnight success. Right? And I think many times we catch up with people by the time we bump into them.
They've been at that for 30 years.
But if I say that, say 30
years
are
faithful,
30
consistent,
30
yes,
all the faithful, consistent there, and grown, improved. You know, even Dave Ramsey, you know, he tells his own story. You know, if you've ever followed Ramsey Solutions and their financial peace and the legacy journey and all of the many things they've created, and that started on a plastic card table in their living room.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't there for any of that.
Right.
All we get to see now is, man, all these radio shows and that big nice building and
the books
and the
podcast and
all the stuff, you know, and we can look at that and go, well, I'm not doing nothing.
You know, he's talking to me today.
Well, I mean,
you know that.
Oh, I didn't. I wasn't going to say nothing. You said something.
You're so nice. We might as well be transparent.
But I mean, but we all fall prey to that. We all fall prey to
in one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We look at people who have successful marriages, and we forget, oh wow, they've been married 50 years.
Right. Or for newlyweds, we've been married 25 years. And it's the showing up daily, consistently,
not going nowhere.
Faithfully. I choose you. You choose me. I choose your ugly. I choose your crazy. All of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But for 25 years.
Well, again, even parenting, you know, we've had that at times in parenting. People, you know, look at, you know, I'll pick on Sophia. She's in a whole nother place, you know, but, you know, wow, look at Sophia. How is she? And y'all, that's just an 18 years of ups and downs and faithful parenting and successes and failures on both sides, on our side, on her side, and you look, good morning, Miss Vivian, you know, and so listen, it's life is a long game.
It is. It really is.
And here's the correct. And in eternity, that's still short.
Ooh.
So what we're doing for the kingdom of God is a long game because it's eternal.
Yes.
So everything we do is eternal in the sense of our little action today. And it's like, again, and I want to say this because, again, just being it's that you throw yourself under the bus.
I'm under the bus. Go boom, 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 and then back up. Okay.
But no, but it's, because we can all fall prey to, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not achieving anything. Nothing's happening right now. Nothing's changing in my situation.
I planted a garden. Why can't I see all the...
Yeah. Well, and again, even we talk about it from a biblical, we look at famously at the story of Abraham and we all celebrate and should.
Wow, Abraham.
We celebrate Father Abraham and his faithfulness and how God came through and how God brought about Isaac and how God led him, on that 3-day journey and brought the ram, and there was that test of Abraham's commitment and all this stuff, and then later the promised land and all of the stuff, and then
to us it's just a few chapters, right? Which we can sit down and binge read in about
30 minutes.
30 minutes, right?
Yeah, so you can flip and I think that you can flip pages in the Bible and go, man, look at that, and you can forget that was 100 and something years of Abraham's life, right? You can forget.
Oh my goodness.
That journey of faith that we love to celebrate, that journey of faith that we look at and are inspired by, was a man and his wife, and again, and this is who was fully persuaded.
Yeah.
To the point where outward circumstance didn't matter.
Yeah.
Now, listen, that to me, that is a big key to what we talk about walking in faith or walking by faith or living in faith,
right?
Living by faith.
Yeah.
Is, are we persuaded that the one who promised is able?
Yeah. Just
like Abraham said in Romans 4:23. Or as the Bible says about Abraham in Romans 4:23, that when Abraham being fully persuaded that the one who promised was able.
Yes.
And it says, and then Abraham did not consider his body that was dead.
Right.
In the sense of impotent, powerless in that area. He was expecting the miracle of God. Listen, faith is a persuasion that does not take into consideration any outward circumstance.
Yeah, you just, because it's not.
But we got to get to. But Abraham.
You have to get there.
So listen, Abraham. That was being said about Abraham, probably in his 90s.
Yeah.
So that wasn't just that Abraham didn't get to that level of persuasion the first time God showed up and said, "Separate yourself from your people, go out to a place, and I'll show you." Right. It was a journey of a process of growth inside of Abraham that brought him to a place. So I just want to encourage ourselves,
I think, yes,
and you guys,
yes,
that again, let us allow ourselves, to continually and consistently become persuaded that God is for us. God is with us, and God has put inside of our imaginations ideas, inspirations for all kinds of stuff, from ministry-minded ideas, business-minded ideas, family-minded ideas, whatever, community-minded ideas.
That's right.
Whatever, spiritual-minded.
You might have an amazing, actually I sense this for somebody there. You're looking at your community going, my community needs this. And if you see that, please run with it.
Go with it.
Just please understand, it's going to be a long game.
Yeah.
And because that was birthed in you, just water that and cultivate that and seek people out that are going to help you so that it's sustainable. Yeah. Roger, good morning. Thank you for joining us. So I think, when you see a need in your community, you see a need in your circle or your sphere, and you go, we really need more X. Well, go for it. Just realize that there's going to be this patience and this perseverance and this gathering together of other people that will help you make it happen.
Yes.
That it's been burning in their heart, but they just needed somebody to start.
Yes.
Just all those things. And it's going to be a very fun adventure of faith.
Yes.
Because that idea in your heart, if it hasn't gone away for a bit, that comes from the Lord.
Yes.
And he wants to partner with you
Yes.
in order to make that happen.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be a ministry idea. It can be, our community needs a soup kitchen, or it needs a food pantry, or it needs whatever, a school supply drive, whatever the idea is that's in your heart.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, I'm behind a pulpit and I'm going to have meetings. That most of the ideas are not going to be that.
Well, I was ready to jump in because you were talking and it reminded me of, and you can find, I forgot this lady's name, but you can Google her, what she started. It's called the Turquoise Table is the name of it, the Turquoise Table. And so this lady, and I think it was somewhere out in the West, and forgive me if I'm wrong, this is popped up like a rabbit out of the back of my memory, but
don't shoot it.
But she started what was called the Turquoise Table. Her favorite color was turquoise.
Look at my cup, just like that.
Yeah, but she looked at her community and goes, "We don't know each other. We don't know who each other are. We're all participating in the garage culture where we pull up, hit the button, pull in, shut the door, and nobody sees each other." So she had this idea. She painted her picnic table turquoise and her Adirondack chairs turquoise. And then she did this. She put them in the front yard. And then she put a sign up that says, "Stop at the Turquoise Table for a glass of wine on your way home." And it was at 5 o'clock, kind of like happy hour almost. And so, and she would sit out there. Now, here's the thing. If I'm remembering the story, there was days, if not weeks, she sat out there by herself.
And she said people would be out for walks and kind of give her a wide berth.
And look and go
for jogs and kind of run faster by her.
And she'd kind of go, "Hey, come on over. You want a glass of wine? Come sit with me." And eventually what happened is she began to have people come and sit at the table.
Yeah.
And become and talk, and she got to know her community, and neighbors got to know one another.
And
it became a thing where it was what just people did in the afternoons
after
at 5 o'clock. They would go to the Turquoise Table
and hang out
as
a neighborhood
and share the day.
Wow!
And so listen to me. But see, that's a lady. She had this idea. It came, I believe, it came from the Lord.
Yeah.
And she just said, "I'm going to do it."
Yeah. And
she did it, I'm sure, imperfectly.
Yeah.
She did it consistently.
Now you're stepping on my toes again.
Well, but again, listen.
Yeah, whatever.
But here's the thing, though. But this is again back to what we said. We sometimes bump into people, and we look at, again, in our sphere, because we're pastors, we're ministers. We see, again, we name people like Keith and Phyllis Moore, Pastor Ken and Lynette Hagan,
Bill Johnson,
and his late wife Miss Benny at Bethel, and we see, again, Andrew Womack and Miss Jamie that we follow closely. We see these people because they're our world. They're the ones we see, and they're ahead of us, and they've been. And if we're not careful, we go, "Man, I'm just failing. I'm just not doing anything. I don't
measure up."
And we can't do that.
Because then we're comparing our today to their 30 years down the road.
Absolutely.
And that's very unrealistic.
Yes.
And when we are unrealistic with ourselves, we get stressed out, frustrated, discouraged, and all the things we are not supposed to become. And that sabotages, actually, it aborts mission before you ever even really get started.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, and so we'll close, land the plane on this. It's this, in the Hebrews.
I'm reading this. You keep talking.
Okay. That's cool. Okay.
Yes.
So in who said that? But Miss Vivian.
Yes.
Miss Vivian. Okay, cool.
Yeah, God talks to us in different ways to reach out to different people in our community.
Absolutely.
And it's just about, especially today, we are all very isolated.
Yes.
And there's a mindset about being isolated. But isolation is very destructive.
Yeah.
Very, very destructive.
Absolutely. Well, I encourage you, again, just to plug here, I follow a podcast called The Great Man Podcast by Stephen Mansfield.
Oh, yes.
And a couple of weeks ago, he put out a great one called The Horror of Haunting Loneliness.
Brad has come alive listening to that. So as his woman, I love him listening to
Yeah,
that.
it's a great podcast. So for it's again, Stephen is going
produced.
after men now,
Yeah.
but this one is one that's for everybody. So again, if you're a lady there, don't be shying away because it's called the Great Man Podcast. But if you have a man in your life, father, husband, brother, son,
Listen and
any
then
of the
share
above,
it.
share it, give it. It's a
Yeah.
great podcast. So the Great Man Podcast, but the thing is called The Horror of Haunting Loneliness, and I'm not going to get into that, but it speaks to some of the stuff you were just saying.
Yeah.
But here, we'll land the plane and kind of stick this final thought for today. But listen, in the book of Hebrews, that's what I was trying to say, is it says this, it says, mark those who through faith and patience.
Patience. I thought it said perseverance.
Well, that's another great word for patience is perseverance.
It is.
Right? Faith and patience, they inherited the promises of God. Right? Faith and patience. Faith and so they were persuaded and they were patient and they persevered and they did it anyway and they did it when they felt like it and they did it when they didn't. They stayed after it when they wanted to give up. They believed when every circumstance in their life was screaming at them to not believe and to not trust. And they said, nope, gonna believe. And I say that to say, say all of what we want to do here on Coffee with Brad and Selena is, see guys, every great hero we follow, whether it's a biblical hero or whether it's a current hero of the faith, they all were just average people.
Yes. No super dupers.
None of them.
No.
From the Bible
onward
to today, none of those people
That's right.
were super special, super duper, somehow. I mean, again, I love some of those old videos from 20 years ago that were made to inspire churches. They were all very unqualified, anger issue people, murderers, adulterers, blasphemers. I mean, you can go through this list of all these people in the Bible and their failings.
Yeah.
But
because they were just average.
They were just average folk.
Zero perfect people.
Yes, zero perfect people that were there.
Yeah.
Right? And so God's not looking for perfect people. He's looking for people who are willing to be persuaded.
Yes.
And people who are willing to be patient.
Yes.
And people who are willing to persevere.
Yes.
And to do it anyway.
Yes.
And to just do it anyway.
Absolutely.
And to believe it anyway. And to stay after it anyway.
Yes.
Amen? So,
yes.
Have a great Thursday. Hey, listen, Selena's going to put a bunch of stuff in the comments about, we have her parenting book is out. So again, Christmas time is coming. Hey, we have a great offer on our webpage that we put together just for Christmas for families. And it's Selena's ebook, the book in ebook form.
Ebook form, yeah.
We have how many hours did we do?
Well, it's 27 sessions.
27 sessions.
That are 20 minutes each.
So you do the math. I can't do the math yet.
Well,
but
you would sit down 27 times and listen and watch a 20-minute segment. So
on parenting,
Yes.
we call it the parenting toolbox.
Yes.
Things that God showed us as we have been raising and are still raising our kiddos that we have found very helpful as, again, just average folk that we have endeavored to persevere.
Yeah. Yes.
But we put together, so the 27 session webinar, its accompanying book, Selena's book in ebook form, all of that is a package for $150 for Christmas time. So what a great, we wish somebody would have bought that for us for Christmas. When we were starting out, we that's why we put it together.
Or when we had, 8-year-olds, like, please.
Yeah. So if you've got a young parent in your family, we created a great gift just for them.
That's right.
And endeavored to put it at a good price point that would make it available for everybody. So for $150, they get a great webinar. They get all the e-materials to go with it.
Yes.
Now, if you want to up it, we have a $350 offer, and they get 2 hours or 2 sessions, 2 counseling sessions that are about an hour and a half with us.
One-on-one.
one-on-one.
Yeah.
So we
well,
did that.
1-on-2 or 2-on-2. You know.
Yeah, whatever. You know, but personal like this
Yes,
over the
yes.
phone. If they live in Alabama, we'll meet them in
We'll
person.
meet them, yeah.
All that stuff. So anyway, so those things are there. Just check them out at thehollemans.com. We want to thank everyone who has been so faithfully and continually supporting us.
Yes.
And so Selena will put the giving ways in the comments as well. So if
Yes.
you'd like to give and support our ministry and what we're doing, we appreciate that.
Yes.
And we love you guys, and have
Yes.
a great Thursday and weekend.
Yes.
And as Miss Vivian said earlier, happy Thanksgiving coming up.
That's right.
So we'll probably not have a live next Thursday since it's Thanksgiving.
That's right.
But be watching. We will do some lives
between now and then. Because
So,
that's just too long.
that's just too long.
And we
Yep.
miss you guys.
All right.
Okay.
Love you. Have a great, great day.
Bye-bye.